HTMX did not come back because developers forgot how to write JavaScript. It came back because a lot of web apps got too complicated for the work they actually do, and AI coding agents make that painfully obvious. Ask an agent to add a simple interaction to a heavy front-end app and watch what happens. It has to find the component, then the state hook, then the data fetching layer, then the cache invalidation rule, then the loading state, then the optimistic update, then the error toast, then the route boundary, then the server action, then the test utility that mocks all of it. All of that might be justified for a complex product, but for a huge amount of web software, it is just a lot of machinery around a form. HTMX is interesting in the AI era because it makes many common interactions boring again. Click a button, send a request, return HTML, swap part of the page. The agent can follow that, humans can follow that, the browser can follow that. This video is about why HTMX is back, because AI agents hate front-end state, not because React is dead, not because JavaScript is evil, because every bit of hidden state is another place. An AI agent can get lost. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this. Now, back to the video. The first problem is that front-end state spreads. At the beginning, it looks harmless. One component needs a value, then another component needs the same value, then the URL needs to reflect it, then the server needs to know it, then the cache needs to update, then the loading state needs to behave differently depending on which interaction started the change. Soon, the feature is not one feature, it is a little distributed system inside the browser. Humans can manage that with discipline. Agents often struggle because the true behavior is spread across files. The visible UI is in one place, the state is in another, the query cache is in another, the mutation logic is in another. The server route is somewhere else. The validation schema might be shared, copied, or missing. When an agent changes one piece, it can easily miss the rest. That is how you get a page that looks fixed until the cache refreshes, or a button that works once and then shows stale data. Or a form that handles success but forgets the error path. HTMX reduces this for many app shapes. The interaction can live close to the HTML, the server can own the state transition, the response can be the updated interface. That is easier for an agent to reason about because the loop is shorter. The second problem is that agents overbuild. Give an AI agent a blank front-end task and it often reaches for the biggest pattern it has seen. Global state, component libraries, client-side routers, custom hooks, generic abstractions, reusable wrappers for things that only happen once. It is not trying to be annoying, it is copying the internet. The internet contains a lot of overbuilt front-end code. HTMX gives the agent a different default. Do the simple thing, let the server return the next piece of UI, use HTML as the interface. Only add deeper client state when the feature truly needs it. That default matters. AI coding is heavily shaped by the path of least resistance. If the stack makes complex client architecture the default, the agent will produce complex client architecture. If the stack makes a form post and a partial response the default, the agent is more likely to stay small. This is not nostalgia, this is workflow design. The less the agent has to invent, the less junk it creates. And for internal tools, admin panels, CRUD apps, settings pages, dashboards, moderation queues, approval flows, and simple SaaS screens, smaller is often better. The third reason is server authority. Most business applications already trust the server. The server validates input. The server checks permissions. The server writes to the database. The server decides what the user is allowed to see. So when a front-end app builds a huge parallel model of the same state, you get duplication. The client thinks one thing, the server thinks another. The cache thinks a third thing. The AI agent has to coordinate all of it. HTMX keeps authority closer to the server. The user clicks, the server decides. The page updates with the result. That is not always enough. Some interfaces need rich local state. Editors, canvases, design tools, collaborative surfaces, complex offline apps, and advanced dashboards need serious front-end architecture. But many apps do not. They need reliable state transitions. That is exactly where server-driven UI helps agents. The agent can inspect the route, it can inspect the template, it can inspect the database change, it can run the request, it can see the returned HTML. The path from user action to result is visible. Visibility is what agents need. The fourth reason is testing. Front-end state can be hard to test well. You mock the server, you mock the router, you mock the query client, you wait for effects, you assert on a component tree. You hope the test matches how the browser behaves. Again, this can be worth it, but for simple workflows, it is a lot. HTMX-style apps can often test behavior through server responses. Submit this form, expect this status, expect this partial, expect this row to change, expect this validation message, expect this permission failure. That kind of test gives an agent strong feedback. It does not need to perfectly simulate a complex client runtime just to verify a normal business action. The more the test looks like the product behavior, the easier it is for the agent to fix the right thing. This is one reason older web patterns feel newly relevant. They make the feedback loop understandable again, and AI agents live or die by feedback loops. A clean server-side test can teach the agent faster than a fragile component test that fails for 5 possible reasons. The goal is not fewer tests. The goal is tests that point at the behavior instead of the machinery. The fifth reason is code locality. Agents are better when related things are near each other. If the route, validation, database call, and rendered response are close, the agent can hold the task in its head. If the same behavior is split across a client component, shared hook, generated API client, backend handler, schema package, cache layer, and route config, the agent needs much more context. More context is not always better. More context often means more chances to focus on the wrong thing. HTMX encourages local changes. Add a button here, add an endpoint there, return the updated partial. The files involved are often obvious. That is exactly the kind of task AI agents can handle well: small scope, visible flow, quick check. This is also why HTMX pairs well with conventional backends: Go templates, Django templates, Rails views, Phoenix templates, server-rendered HTML with simple interactions. The agent can understand the path because the stack is not hiding it behind layers of client abstraction. That does not make it primitive, it makes it inspectable. Inspectable beats magical when a machine is editing your code. There are limits. HTMX is not a universal front-end replacement. If the product is mostly client-side interaction, do not pretend it is a form app. If users need offline editing, drag and drop canvases, complex real-time collaboration, local simulation, rich media editing, or a massive interactive workspace, you probably need more JavaScript. That is fine. The mistake is using the complex stack when the product is not complex. AI makes that mistake more expensive because agents amplify defaults. If your default is heavy, the generated code gets heavy. If your default is simple, the generated code starts simple. HTMX is useful because it creates a bias. Start with the server, use HTML, add interactivity where needed. Do not build a client-side state machine for every admin button. That bias is healthy. It forces you to ask whether the front-end complexity is buying anything. And in the AI era, that question matters more than ever because the code you create quickly is also the code you have to maintain later. So HTMX is back for a reason, not because the industry ran out of ideas, because some of the older web ideas are suddenly perfect for AI-assisted development. Put behavior near the server. Keep state transitions visible. Return the interface the user should see. Avoid hidden client machinery unless the product earns it. That is friendly to humans. It is also friendly to coding agents. React is not dead. Front-end engineering is not going away. But the default for many apps may be shifting. If the feature is a normal business workflow, maybe it does not need a client-state architecture. Maybe it needs a route, a template, a test, and a clear database update. That is not less serious, that is less waste. And when an AI agent is doing the work, less waste often means better code. HTMX did not return because developers hate JavaScript. It returned because simple web interactions are still simple and AI agents badly need us to stop pretending otherwise.